never outside of arm's width length at any given time during the day. And it's something that I can easily use to fulfill the need of maintaining the database of prospects that I've accumulated as I've started this process now for about the last 7 or 8 years, okay, where I've been able to accumulate in my phone about over 8,000 people, okay? And again, introvert, right? Just getting started in business. Why was I so fanatical about this? Because the work it took me to stretch out of the comfort zone, to get comfortable talking to people, I wanted to make sure that any person that I came in contact with and exchanged information with, I never let that name slip through the cracks. And for over the last 7 or 8 years, I've mastered this process that I use, and I use it every single time. I do it the exact same way. So my searchable fields are always the same. And I'm going to show you exactly what that looks like. Now, the reality is, and I'll just say this now, there's apps out there that may work better for you. No problem. There's techniques that may work better for you. There's things you might be able to add on to what I do that may work better for you and your business. What I've done is mastered it for my business. I'll share that with you. And then you can take it and run with it from there, test it out. The main thing that's made it so successful for me for the last 8 years is that I do it the same way every single time. If I get a referral from a client, they get entered in the same way. If I meet somebody at Walmart, they get entered the same. If I meet somebody at Starbucks, they get entered the same way. Why? So that I know my searchable fields will always be the same. Now, this is live without being rehearsed. So hopefully technology here is going to cooperate with me, and we're going to be able to make this happen very simply on the screen for you so that you can really see what this looks like. So I'm bringing up here my iPad, and going to do no audio, and I'm going to turn this video off there. Okay, here we go. I'm going to share my screen, and this is going to allow you to me to show you my contact. Okay, now again, there's no private information that's going to be shared here, as I make sure that all the private information is within the contact, and I've made a couple of dummy contacts to show you how I do it. So as we look here at the screen, and I come over here to my contacts, and we open them up. Okay, and you're going to see here it is just alphabetically, right? So let's say I wanted to go to John Doe. Okay, there he is. And I met John Doe on May 2nd, 2021. Now, this is what it's going to show me when I pull up this contact in my phone. Now, let me show you how I organize this here very specifically, the same way every single time. Okay, first name. Now, most times I don't have a last name, so it's just not going to say Doe there. It's just going to say John. All right, but it's going to say John and the date I met him. Very important. It's going to go in that way every single time. That date's going to go on the first line right next to the first name. Okay, the second thing that's that's equally as important is that it's going to say prospect. I'm going to show you why. Every time I enter somebody, the first word I put in is prospect. In the line that says company in an iPhone, you'll figure it out as it relates to your phone, okay? Then you see I put met at Starbucks, son Mike, 2 years old, and he's a mechanic, okay? Now, I could also put in there, because in my industry, I want to know people that have kids, all right? So I know I put son Mike, 2 years old, but I might also type in there kids, all right? And I'll show you why. I put the phone number, made up a phone number there, made up an email. You can enter in whatever information you want to enter in. For me, most importantly is phone number, okay? Now, when I save that, all right? And now let's come back, and let's say I wanted to look up now, that's how I enter it, okay? No matter who it is. Now, why do I enter it that way? Let's say I wanted to look, I don't remember the guy's name. I met him at an event, let's say. I knew the event was on May 2nd, 2021. I'd go 5/2/21, and boom, there he is, John Doe, and it opens right up. Okay, let's say that I just want to make a bunch of phone calls. I want to get activity going. I want to find good people, and I just type in prospect, right? Why do I put it that way every single time? Because now alphabetically, every prospect I've ever met pops up for me. Okay, and I can just contact as many people as I possibly can that day. All right, now, why do I put mechanic? Maybe I want to look up all the mechanics I've met and just call mechanics. Or maybe I remember the guy was a mechanic. I can't remember his name. And I type in mechanic and I go, oh, there he is. He was, it's John Doe, right? Maybe I remember he had kids. And look at this. Anybody that I've ever typed in that has kids. Or maybe I know he had a son. And I type in son, and everybody that has a son pops up. So you can see that these qualifiers, these searchable fields, become very important. Now, let's say I remember I met Jane Doe yesterday, and I type in 8/11/21. There she is. I click on Jane Doe, and there she is. She's a teacher. I met her at Walmart. She loves investments. Okay. So she loves investments. Now you want to make sure that you spell things correctly or you're not going to be able to search them. But watch what happens here. Let's say I have an investment seminar coming up and I type in invest. And look at this. Anybody that I've added in there that investments are important to pops up. Okay. Or let's say I wanted to see every teacher I've ever met. I'm going to do a financial seminar for teachers. Every teacher I've ever met pops up, including Jane Doe, right? Because why? She says teacher right there. Okay. And let's say I wanted to look for somebody that I met at Walmart. I can't remember her name. I know I met her at Walmart. It was a recent date. So I know it was like this year. So I can look for all the 2021s. And when I find it, I can look at the name and go, yep, there she is. Why? Because every person I've ever met at Walmart is here. So again, the most important part, right, is how you enter the name so that you always have the same searchable filters in there. So when you type them in, you know you're getting all the data that relates to that specific filter that you're searching for. So it goes name, date. You may or may not. Most of the people I've met, I don't have their last name. Prospect, first word that goes on that line, and then whatever information I want to put in that when I see Jane Doe, who I met August 11, 2021, I'll remember her because I know she worked. I met her at Walmart. She loved investments and she's a teacher. And those are searchable fields that I can go back to later on and pull up a list of people specifically about that particular category. And in your business, you can figure out what are those important categories that are relative to your business, and make sure when you meet somebody that has that you put it in there because you can go back and reference it later. I hope this has helped you again.